option before. Okay. We're recording. We're good.
Cool.
Okay. You think we should get started?
Welcome, everyone. Yeah, let's get started.
Okay. All right. So, Nancy, did you want to introduce me?
Sure. I'm going to introduce Laura to you guys. So, some of you, the Canadians on this end, are looking at this lovely lady. Her name's Laura Scheller. She's been with Steep Tea now, what, 8 months?
8 months, yeah.
8 months. And she is rocking this business like nobody's rocked it before. In 8 months, she's director, senior director.
Yep.
Yeah. She's grown her team immensely. And obviously, within 8 months to do that is you got to be doing something right. So I'm super excited to be partnering with her. Oh, I should also mention she also is a mom of 3 little kids. She's got a son of twins, and she's also a part-time lawyer. So she definitely has a full plate. So when people say they don't have time for this business, I always think of Laura. Because Laura's awesome, and we can all learn a lot from her. So I'm super excited to introduce my team to her. And thank you so much, Laura, for sharing your expertise, your words of wisdom, because up here we need your help.
Thank you so much for that introduction. I have to mute everyone besides myself. So that you don't hear the background. But if you have any questions, if you have any questions, just type it in the chat box. There's a chat box on the bottom rightish hand corner. So just type any questions and I'll answer them all. I'll try to, if there's a question where I'm going, I may not necessarily see it, but I will definitely get to all your questions. I am sure you're going to have a lot of questions, and that's good. I like questions. I tend to talk fast, so if you don't hear anything, let me know. I spoke to Joan Hepburn the other day on the phone for an hour and a half, and she told me she understood 1 out of 3 words because I talk so fast. And apparently you Canadians do not talk that quickly, so I will try my best to go slowly. So what I am about to tell you, I think will scare you guys, especially you Canadians, because I know it'll scare you because I got this training done, social media training, about 2.5 years ago. And I literally laughed when they told me what I was supposed to be doing. And I thought they were crazy. And you'll think I'm crazy, and I am crazy. But the reason why I know it works is because with my last direct sales company, I refused to do it for a while because I thought I was going to annoy people on Facebook. And I had a very hard time recruiting people. It took me a year to get 1 person as a recruit on my last direct sales team. And I think it was because I basically begged my friend to join. And then it took me another subsequent year to get to basically where group leader is. And then I just was, right before that, I was like, I realized that people were being successful by doing the social media. So I decided to just go for it and try it. And I was like, I'll try it for a couple of months. And if I seem to be annoying people, my friends are very honest. And so my family's even more honest. So I knew they would tell me if I'm annoying the hell out of them. So I just figured I'd try it. And I went with it. And I went with everything they said. And my team went from 7 people to 60 in about 5 months, I think it was, from just following the only thing I was doing different was actually following what I was supposed to be doing on social media. So I'm just going to go through it and tell you exactly what I learned. I'm going to tell you everything I learned. I don't necessarily do everything I learned. And if I don't do something, I'll tell you why I don't do it. But you should probably do everything I learned. Some things I just don't do. So I'm going to go over first personal page on Facebook, what you should be posting, when you should be posting. And then I'm going to talk about your VIP page, which I'm sure a lot of Canadians don't have VIP pages. Or never heard of a VIP page. So I'm going to go through VIP pages. And then I am going to go through quickly Instagram and business page. There's research out there that you have to master. You can only master 2 social media outlets at a time. And one would be your personal page and one would be your VIP page. So I'm not going to go on to Instagram too much because it might be a little confusing. But I'll say some things, and then once you guys master either your personal page or your VIP page, then you could go into Instagram too, because it is a great way to get people on Instagram. So for your personal page, your whole entire purpose of social media is to attract people to you, and people want to follow you and want to do what you're doing. You want people who are similar to you, and that's why they say find your tribe. And the biggest goal for your personal Facebook is to figure out the Facebook algorithm. So Facebook has an algorithm where if you post once a week, nobody's going to see your post. If you post 3 to 5 times a day, that's what they say to do, then everyone will see your post on Facebook. If you do it more than 5 times, apparently you annoy people. If you do it less than 3 times, then Facebook won't let you get seen as often. So you want everyone to see your posts on Facebook. So I'm sure you're sitting there like I was and say, what the heck should I post about 3 times a day? Because that's hard to do. And I'll talk about how much you post about tea. This has nothing to do with tea. Within your 3 posts, some will be about tea, but at most 1 a day. So you have to figure out at least 2 other posts. And I know everyone's always like, oh, well, what should I post about? And I always tell everyone to think of 8 or 9 characteristics about themselves that they think defines themselves, and keep just rotating through the 8 or 9 characteristics. I just keep a list, and sometimes it changes. Like, I'm a huge Yankee fan, but I don't really post about them now that the World Series they're not in the World Series. So I would put something else in, but I'm an attorney, obviously, a mom, a twin mom. I am a hot mess for those that know me or friends with me. I love dogs. I had open heart surgery, things like that, things that you feel like define. I'm a picky eater, things that you think define your life. Those are what you're going to post about, because people will relate to you and they like to see about your life and they like to follow you. I was so scared to do this, and I'm sure you guys are too, to post 3 times a day. But I just want to tell you that I started doing it last January, and in February I had my mom's 65th birthday party, and her friends and my family all came out to me and they're like, we love following you on Facebook. Like, we go to see what your posts are. Like, we actually go to your name to see what your posts are. So people, if you do it correctly, you won't annoy anyone, is what I've learned. So anyway, you keep switching among those 8 or 9 characteristics to make people like your page. You have to add value to your page, no matter what it is. I try to add value by being funny. Sometimes I'm spot on, and sometimes nobody likes my funny things. But, some value added. A lot of people ask me for social media advice, so I help a lot of people with CT or with other direct sales. A lot of people tell me they can't be funny, and that's fine. Like, there's other ways to add value. If you have cute kids, people love seeing pictures of kids if you're okay posting them. If you have a cute dog, people love dogs. If you have a cute cat, I'm allergic, but I even think they're cute. If you're a good photographer, I'm the worst photographer ever, but I know some people take really good pictures of like sunsets and things like that. I try, and usually I fail, but that's a very good thing for people to want to see your page. People love when people post recipes, especially if they're easy recipes. If you're good at cooking, you can come cook for me, but because I suck at it too. But I know a lot of people get people to like their page because they are good cooks and they make easy meals for their kids or for their husbands or for themselves, whatever it is. And people will want to follow that and want to keep looking at your page to see other recipes that you do. People love asking when you ask opinions. I always do like, which dress should I wear? And like, I probably already have it in my mind, but like, people always will answer like A or B, and you get like 100 or 150 comments on things like that, because everyone has an opinion and wants to share it. So always ask for opinions on Facebook. It makes it very popular. And then your posts, once people start liking your posts and interacting with you, then they'll keep seeing your posts. That's how the Facebook algorithm works. So you want people to like your posts, and even better if they comment on it. And whenever anyone comments on any of your posts, make sure you reply to them if you can. Sometimes it gets a little too crazy where there's like 100 comments and I don't necessarily reply to everyone. But when you're starting out, it's not going to be like that. So reply to everyone, because then they know that you care, that they commented, and they'll be more likely to comment in the future. So that's basically some ways you could get people to like your page more often and what to post about 3 to 5 times. I'm going to talk about what you should post about with tea now. I think a lot of people missed the mark with tea because Nobody wants to see stock pictures of tea. It's not interesting to anyone. Our tea's beautiful, but nobody gives a shit. People want to see what you're tasting with the tea and why you're liking it, and like what concoctions you're making and how it's helping you, especially like our stress reliever, our sleepy chai, things like that. People want to hear about the teas and how they're helping your life, or like how they're a part of your life. I usually just make it like, if I have a stressful day with the kids, I'll be like, thank God for stress reliever tea. The most you want to post on your personal page about tea is once a day, because if you post 4 times a day about tea, people are going to stop looking at your post. The most you want to do is once a day, and the other post should be about your life. You could always, in each tea thing, in each post, sometimes I just put like, thanks stress reliever as a hashtag. I don't really consider that a tea post necessarily if it's like my day, my crazy day. But make sure you post at most once a day. This is just for your personal page. I'll get into the VIP page later. Make sure you include your face in your pictures. If you want people to relate to you, they need to see your face. There's studies done that if you just post without your face, nobody knows who you are and can relate to you, but people will relate to you. Don't be so with the tea post, you should post at least once a week about the business opportunity and why you're liking it. And I know a lot of you are probably new and saying like, what would I like about it? I just started. But what people like about, whatever you like about it, if you're having fun with it, if you're loving being a part of a team, if even if you make, say, like $30, you're still spending the $30 somewhere, and people want to know when they see that you're spending it and what you're spending it on. Like, if you're out to dinner on a date with your husband and you're like, oh, thanks Steve T, I was able to go on a date. Or I'm glad that I didn't have to use, I always say like, I'm glad I didn't have to use like my attorney money to do this. Then people will be like, oh, I would love to do that too. I once posted, I'm sure it's not the same in Canada, but in where I live, camp counselor tips are like out of control, ridiculous. It's seriously like should be a crime how expensive we like tip the counselors. And I posted like, oh, thanks to Steve, I was able to pay the counselors the tips, and 3 people joined that night because they also had to tip the counselors the ridiculous amount that New Jersey requires. So whatever it's doing to help you, people will want to see. And so make sure at least once a week on your personal page, you talk about it. The biggest thing to do if you have a team and a downline is to recognize people on it, because recognition shows a few things. First of all, it shows that you know how to have successful people on your team, help people be successful on your team. It shows that they're successful, so their friends see it. It makes them appreciate you. And it's just, I do Sunday Spotlight every single week, or I try to do every single week as long as I remember. Some weekends I was away. But when I do Sunday Spotlight, I feel like more people join the people's team. I think Heather's on here. I did one for Heather, and I think she got 3 people that day on the team. And I feel like it just shows it's very good for your team, and it shows good team bonding if you do recognition. So make sure to do that as one of your tea posts once a week. Okay, then next is just on your page in general, make it a pretty positive page. Obviously, nobody wants like a picture perfect world, or they think you're fake, which a lot of people are on Facebook. But if you're very negative, people will not want to follow your page. If you're talking bad about people, or like there's one consultant I know that like posts about like needing friends, like things like that, people are like, what is this person talking about? Try not to be too negative. It should be a positive page, but definitely be vulnerable. Talk about like what issues I have like bad anxiety, so I talk about my anxiousness and things like that, and I feel like it makes people relate to me, but I'm not being like negative, like, oh my God, this was the worst day of my life. So definitely try to be uplifting. So I learned that you should not post about politics on anywhere on Facebook, but I am a hardcore liberal who's in America right now, so I clearly don't follow that. I try not to post too much about politics, because what the thing is if you post about politics, you're going to piss some people off who might not want to be your customers or on your team. So I do post about politics, so whatever, but you shouldn't. So I learned that you should friend request 3 to 5 people a day. And when we were in Indianapolis, Nancy and I were together, Melanie, the president, told us that you need to meet 30 people a week, sorry. And that's basically how it relates to online, is by friend requesting 3 to 5 people. I probably do about 3 to 5 people, but the people that I usually friend request are, now I only do people that like I actually know, I've met, or people who are in tea parties with me. And if they're like active in tea parties and they buy tea, I'll usually friend request them because those will probably be your next customers or consultants. Especially like the ones that are very, very active. They're usually great consultants. So if you don't have, so now I have like 1,800 friends, so I'm not necessarily that concerned, but it is a great way to get more people and a great way to meet people, to add friends, because people are like, how the hell am I supposed to get 3 to 5 friends a day? Is I tell my team all the time to join interest groups, whatever interests you. So I'm in like a twin mom group. I know a lot of twin moms are on my team. I'm in an open heart surgery survivor group. I'm in anxiety groups. Some of you are from there. Whatever it is, you don't talk about tea in there because a lot of them don't allow that, but you engage with the people and you get to know them, and then you go back and forth on their posts whenever they post something. If it seems like someone who's like you, then I post back and forth, and then if they keep posting back and forth with me and talking, I'll just add them as a friend, and I'll be like, oh, you seem like someone who I'd get along with. I hope you don't mind I added you as a friend, and nobody ever minds. So then when you get them added to your friend page, that now they're going to see your tea posts, right? Because you're going to be posting about tea once a day or once every other day, and then they'll see it and they'll ask you about it. But I also sometimes, if I'm messaging with people, I ask them what they do for a living, and they'll say whatever they say, and I'll respond back being like, oh, I'm an attorney with a tea business on the side as well, with a fun tea business on the side. And then that usually gets people talking to me about tea businesses as well. So we learned to go live on your personal page. So Facebook gives you extra like algorithm points, I'll call them, if you go live. I am not the biggest fan of going live because I don't know, I do it sometimes sporadically, but I feel like, I don't know, so I don't take that advice, but it is good advice. So that's basically all about the personal page. I'm going to go talk about a VIP page. Everyone needs a VIP page. It is where I get most of my customers and most of my consultants is from my VIP page. You post, so on your personal page, you're only supposed to post once a day at most about tea, but in your VIP page, obviously all you're going to be talking about mostly is tea. So I make tea in the morning. I usually post it. I make some recipes with tea. I post it in my VIP group. I talk about the business opportunity. I try to post in there 2 to 3 times a day with my concoctions or about the business opportunity. It's a great place to post all the specials when November 1st starts and whatever the specials are for next month. I don't even remember. You could post on there on November 1st. Now that there's only one more day to get double commissions, I'll post tomorrow, like last day to sign up for to earn double commissions. It's kind of a reminder for that. I post about the business opportunity probably like at least once every other day. So a couple of times a week, I post about the business opportunity. And again, it's just whatever I'm enjoying. Tanya and Melanie sometimes will like a post. I'll even like say like, look how nice what they wrote back to me, and they're in my group. But it's just whatever it's helping you with. Even if you're having fun, whatever you're doing, you post about it in your VIP page, because that's when people will realize that they want to join. And here's the thing about the VIP page, like, you don't have to feel bad about posting about tea because people are in there to learn about your tea. Whereas on your personal page, they didn't necessarily want to have a million posts about tea, but on your VIP page, they love to see the page. After every Facebook party, I tell all the guests to go into my VIP page. It's my last post. It's like, thank you so much for all your orders. Here's my VIP page. So that gets a lot of people from each party to go into the VIP page. One important thing is also, again, people need to relate to you in your VIP page. Make sure you show your face so that they can relate to you and know who you are as a person instead of seeing whatever tea concoctions. And again, no stock pictures there either, because nobody wants to see the stock pictures. I don't even like to post the pictures that Steve Tea gives us, because I don't think they're, I think that people just like ignore it because it just looks like it's like salesy. So I just usually write, once in a while I'll use something they use, but I just usually write like about it with my face or, whatever, or like a quote, like don't miss this opportunity or something like that, or opportunities only knock once, that kind of stuff. So I also do Friday freebie in my group. Every Friday I give out a $20 gift certificate, and I give one entry to everyone who answers the question, whatever question. I just make it fun. It usually has nothing to do with tea, but I like when I find ones that have to do with tea, but there's not so many games that have to do with tea. But, like last Friday I did tell us the name of a tell us a quote from a movie without saying the title, so we can and we have to guess what movie it is. And like I had 117 comments last time I looked at it, and then I gave them I tell people to if they add someone to the group, like a friend to the group, and tag them in the comments, then they'll get 10 entries. So every Friday, my group always expands because people are adding other people in. So I also, one thing for the VIP page and all your concoctions is I always post like other products that I'm using with the teas. So like I found True Lemonade. You Canadians don't have it, I know this, but for instance, there's True Lemonade. And I posted about it, and then so many people bought the True Lemonade to mix with the matcha. And I feel like whenever I find a new drink, a lot of people buy that drink to mix with our teas, and I feel like people then like to get it. And even if people aren't buying our teas, they still like to see the other drinks that I'm drinking. And same with food. You know, obviously, if you make edibles, you just show what you did, how you did them, and what's in it. So definitely put other products in your VIP groups or even on your personal page, because people like to see, and then they'll just ask you about like, oh, how's that True Lemonade? And I'll be like, oh, it's good. And then like you're interacting with them. So it's a good way to get people to interact and be interested in your page. So in the VIP page, I go live. You're supposed to go live too in that. I do that to say like the winners of Friday Freebie, and also people like videos of like our teaware. When I first started, I kind of missed the boat on talking about teaware, and I don't think I ever spoke about teaware. So I didn't sell any teaware because nobody's going to buy it if they don't know about it. So now I try to talk about the teaware more often, and just, you know, the pop top tumbler, how it stays, you know, and I know a lot of my team does this, but like you'll say how amazing it is that you posted that it stayed hot for 8 hours or 10 hours, whatever, how many hours it stays hot for. And the same with the Breezy. I think it's one of the coolest things I've ever seen. So I post videos of like the Breezy every so often, and I feel like people like that. So that is about the VIP page. I'm going to talk about the Instagram business page quickly. When I practiced, it was shorter than where I am now, so I apologize if it goes a little over. So Instagram and business page, again, it's not like your personal Facebook page. You can post as much times as you want about tea. It doesn't matter. People also like to get to know you, so I usually just tell about my day and what tea I'm drinking. But every hashtag I do on Instagram, I include tea and I include matcha. So even if it's like after I work out, I'll just be like, matcha made me do it. If I'm with my kids, thank God for stress reliever, things like that. So you could always, the hashtags are how people search for you on Instagram, but nobody wants to see a post with like 1,900 hashtags. I link my Instagram and my business page together. So anything I post on Instagram will get put on my business page, and nobody wants to see like 100 hashtags of my post on my business page. So I do like about 3, and then in the comments, I do like 30 more hashtags. And then when people search for that hashtag, they'll still see my post, even though it's in the comments, not in the first original post. Again, you want people to relate to you, show your face for sure. Post as often as you like on those. You use hashtags so people will see your post, but make sure you do tea, matcha, but also when you're talking about the business, make sure you hashtag opportunity and work from anywhere. I hashtag mom boss. I hashtag twin mom because I want other twin moms to find me. I hashtag whatever about your life, just put in the hashtags. And that's basically Instagram. Did I talk about, in the beginning I was supposed to talk about the most popular times on Facebook? Did I talk about those? Okay, I didn't think I did. Sorry. Okay, so let me go back to, I just saw my notes. I'm going to go back to the most popular times to post on Facebook for your personal page. And it's probably the same. So your VIP page, everyone will get a notification when you post in your VIP page. So timing's not as popular. I do find that the same times get popular for VIP page and personal, which would make sense because it's the same people. But the most popular times are actually when this call is 8:30 p.m. on Sunday and Monday are probably the most 2 popular times of all of Facebook. So I always post those 2 times. And then nights are always popular, like 8:30, because everyone's kids go to bed is the most popular time, and everyone's done with work or should be done with work. My husband's not, but most people are done with work, so they're actually checking on Facebook and relaxing. So 8:30 p.m. nighttime, especially weeknights, are like pivotal. So that's when I usually do like my most important tea post. So that's why I always do Sunday Spotlight at 8:30 p.m. or like 8 or 8:30 p.m. because that's what that post will get the most views of all of my posts all week. So if you want to have your post viewed the most times, the most important time is to do 8:30 p.m. on Sunday or Monday for whatever you want the world to see with your respect to your T-posts. 8:30 a.m. Well, no. So my popular time for my network is 8:30 a.m. The research says actually that it's like more like 6:30 to 8:30 are the most popular times in the morning. I test marketed it. I don't know. I must have late sleeping friends. I'm a late sleeper, so maybe I have late sleeping friends. But if I post at 6:30, it's like nobody liking it except my husband, who's still sleeping, and I just like for him. So make sure you find what works. I mean, if you have people that I know a lot of people on my downline are teachers, and I think you guys tend to wake up earlier. So I think people might be up at 6:30. My kids don't wake up till later, so I'm not usually up, but people do post at 6:30. I know a lot of people who I've worked with on social media do post at 6:30 and they're successful. So definitely do one post in the morning is what I do. I do around 8:30, 9 o'clock if I am sometimes can't figure out what to post. And then I post at 8:30 p.m. almost every night. Weekends are kind of dead, so nobody's really, I post still 3 times a day, but nobody really likes my posts usually on weekends because it's not the busiest time. And then also there's 2 other times that are really popular for your third post. Depends what your network is. What I was taught is I think like lunchtime is the third most popular time, like around 12:30 to 1. My newsfeed is a lot of attorneys and a lot of stay-at-home moms, and I don't know if I post during lunch. I don't think they're eating lunch at that time or taking a lunch break, so I don't really get a lot of likes at that time. But whenever I post at around 4 or 5, I get even more posts sometimes than I will in the morning because people I think are taking a break at that time or the kids are doing something or something like that. I find that 4 to 5 is my sweet spot for my third post. So that's usually what my third post is. And that's basically the most popular time. So you'll have to work it out with yourself. Thursday night is also, I said Sunday, Monday, Thursday night's also a very popular time too. So those are the 3 most popular nights. And then the mornings, nighttime, every day. And then you can either do lunchtime or 4 o'clock. You'll see 4 or 5. You'll see what your network, you could see because you do similar posts, right? You try out similar posts and you'll see if you get more likes at a certain time and you'll figure it out. So that is everything I think I had to say. One thing about the business page and Instagram is you could plan those posts. So you could do it for the week. So that's good too. And yeah, I'm sure people have questions. So I will take questions now. Unmute yourself if you have a question. Anyone? Did I scare you guys all in Canada?
Trying to figure out how to type the.
What'd you say?
Trying to figure out how to use the type the message.
Oh, you could just talk.
And I'm on my iPad.
You could just talk.
Okay, well, my question was when you said for Instagram posts for the week, I must have missed something. The video and audio kept cutting out. So how often do you post on Instagram?
Oh, so I try to post 2 to 3 times on there as well. But you can, even if you post like more than that, if you have more posts about tea than that, that's fine. You're not going to annoy anyone because Instagram is more kind of for business purposes, and that's what a lot of people use it for. So I post there probably about 2 to 3. I try 2 to 3 times a day.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else?
I have a question.
Yep.
Hi,
Nancy.
Hi. Okay, so when you are adding people from your special interest groups to be a friend, do you personal message them first and say, hey, is it okay if I friend you, or you just add them?
I sometimes do, yeah. Like, or I'll write like in the post, like, oh, we should be friends. It looks like, and they'll be like, yeah, definitely. You can figure out who's going to be in your tribe and who's, like you have to figure out for your team who you want on your team. And I like hardworking, funny, whatever, outgoing people. I feel like a lot of my team is, and I feel like that's what I try to find. And if I find those people in these groups, then I will. I'll just see like, oh, maybe we should be like, I think we should be friends, or like I'll message them sometimes. Sometimes I just add them, and they usually, if they accept, I say thank you.
And for the VIP page, do you again ask them first if they want to be added, or do you just add them?
No, I ask them.
You ask them first.
Well, when you first start out, when I first started out, I didn't ask them. I just added like 100 people to start, and now it's up to like 400 something people. but I usually ask them, or if people are talking to me about tea, I'm like, oh, are you on my VIP page? And some people get missed. I mean, Corey, who just signed up for my team, we always talk about tea, and she wasn't even in my VIP page. So people do get missed. But I also post on my regular page, my VIP page group, every so often, so people know about it. So then more people go into it. I'll just be like, oh, I'm doing a giveaway in this page. Please join it. And then more people will join it.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So are all your pages public then?
Yes. All my pages are public. I think people, I know Sandy spoke about not doing public, but Facebook gives you more points if you're all public. More algorithm points.
I was going to speak to that too, Laura. So as a teacher, we have guidelines for social media. I don't know if it's so much a question or a dilemma, because I definitely keep my personal page private. We can get in a lot of trouble for posting stuff. Not that I post a lot of things that are an issue, but
right.
Sorry, I think I just lost my video.
Okay, I still hear you.
But so I'm kind of having this dilemma of I can't really make that public. I don't have a problem necessarily with making the business page public. There I am.
Yeah. That's fine. I don't think it's going to hurt you that much if you keep it private.
Yeah.
And definitely don't jeopardize your school, don't jeopardize anything. I would just keep it private, and you can do the VIP page as public.
Right. Okay. It might just limit me a little bit, but.
It might limit you a little, but I feel like it's, I could see you already have like a strong sense on social media, so I feel like it's not going to really I feel like it'll be fine. Like it will be maybe hurt your algorithm points a little bit, but I wouldn't worry too much about it.
Okay.
Jeopardize anything.
Good to hear. Thank you.
Yep. Anyone else?
I have a question.
Yep.
Is the Facebook page supposed to, is it a separate Steep Tea Facebook page, or do I keep my own personal Facebook page that I have?
Oh, you mean like the VIP group?
No, just the regular personal page.
Oh, that's just your regular personal page.
Oh, okay.
Just you on Facebook.
Okay.
That's what you post on. And then you create a group. You set up a separate group for it.
Okay. I just wasn't sure because, sometimes people say to have a separate page for your Steep Tea account, and that's.
Oh, no, I just do it personal because then then your friends at least will be seeing, friends and family will all be seeing your posts.
Now I have to spend more time on Facebook.
You do, yes.
Okay, it's good. Lots of great points. Thank you for all this. It's very helpful.
Of course. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. Does anyone else have questions about social media?
No.
Well, if you guys ever have questions, feel free to ask me at any time. Or if you want to see my VIP group, I'm happy to add whoever to it so you can get a sense of it. A lot of people on my team have strong VIP groups as well. So you definitely look for a couple of them. And that's about it.
Great.
All right. So now I'm excited to introduce Nancy to my team. She's one of the sweetest people I've ever met. I met her in Rome. One breakfast, I just was sitting with her, lucky enough to sit with her. And then I lucked out because she earned Go Big, which was huge. She obviously earned her trip to Rome. She earned Go Big, obviously a rock star as well. And she had a conflict when it was in Canada. And I got lucky because I was just sitting with her. I was like, hey, we probably need more people in the U.S. to come to Go Big. So why don't you come to Go Big with us? And she did. So I got to spend a whole weekend with her a couple of weekends ago. And when we were at Go Big, she all of a sudden said the most brilliant thing I ever heard, and I didn't think about it. And she was talking about corporate gifts and how, so my team does a lot of online parties and some do in-home parties, but she was talking about corporate gifts and getting into corporations and having them buy gifts for the holidays. And I think it's just brilliant. I would never think about that. And since I would never think about it, I haven't thought about it. So I figured we should all hear from the expert on it. So thank you, Nancy, for taking the time to discuss it with my team and me. I'm going to be taking hardcore notes, and I look forward to it all. Although my son, apparently, this is what my son did. So I will be finding a piece of paper and taking notes. Okay. I am ready. I'm going to mute myself now.
Hey, everyone. Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, good. Okay. Hello. Hi. Thank you so much for that lovely introduction, Laura. You're a sweetheart. I love you. This is really exciting for me, guys, because the funny thing is that when I first signed up with Steep Tea 3 years ago, I had never been to a home party in my life, certainly online, never. And so when I tried Steep Tea and was thinking about the business opportunity, really all I was thinking about was corporate clients. The idea of going to somebody's home wasn't really something that I even really thought about. And all I really saw was this need to get this product into businesses that I didn't even know existed, but I knew that would benefit from Steep Tea. So that's kind of neat. And I've actually, since the beginning, been talking to Haddam from the beginning about needing that engraving and those kinds of things, because I really felt that those are all really important things that would add to our value in terms of these giftabilities to these corporations. So anyways, so that's kind of how I've always, geared my business, really pretty much as a business. And so when I started the tea and I fell in love with the tea, and I thought to myself, I want to share this with other businesses. And so just like in the Steep Tea Academy where it says, start with your list, start creating your list. That's exactly what I did. I started to create a list of just start with what you're familiar with. If you have, any connections with businesses, obviously that's a place to start, but do not by any means limit yourself to that and say to yourself, I can't do this because I don't know anybody. I don't, no, I'm sorry. You have to get out there and kind of introduce yourself. But like I said, let's start with the list. So I know in the Steep Tea Academy it has where you make your lead generations, and it's got for a host and it's got for sponsors and all these things, but it doesn't have a part for corporate clients. So if you want to use those documents and beside that name, put a C beside it, I would recommend that you do that because it'll help keep you on track. Okay, you really need to be organized. You want to keep track of your list. You want to keep track of your progress with your list. So you really need to have that list ready. So for starters, okay, as I'm driving from the gym or the store, when I was getting my kids from school, whatever, I'm always watching, observing what businesses am I driving by. Oh, look, there's an orthodontics office. Oh, look, there's a dentist's office. Oh, what do you know? There's a bunch of accountants that work over there. And when you start taking off the blinders and really observing your surroundings, you will find your lead generation is going to be mile long because there's lots of businesses that could benefit from having Steep Tea in their businesses. So start with that lead and at the beginning, right away, just off the top of my head, I was thinking, okay, well, obviously Steep Tea is we sell to the end user. So what that means is we can't sell to other businesses that are going to sell us. So for example, my friend actually owns a restaurant in town, and she asked me if she could sell our tea. And the answer, unfortunately, is no. We cannot. We can only sell to the end user. Now, what the end user does with that in terms of providing as where this line of business comes in. So right off the top of my head, I immediately start thinking of salons, spas. I know they've got this new float therapy thing here. I don't know if you guys have that in the States. Anything, relaxation. I mean, we've got a great line of herbal teas, guys. This should be, our Steep Tea should be in every spa in this city. There's no reason why it shouldn't. It's all natural. It's really good stuff. So, even if you just come out with salon and spas and you Google them and you made your list or however you want to do it. Also car dealerships, how long are you sitting and waiting in that, for your car to be serviced? They offer you the crappy old coffee and, some tea. Just as an example, it's a great sales incentive, right? Our products can be a great sales incentive. Why can't you get the Pop Top tumbler engraved with number 1, December 2017? You know, just think. It's all you have to do is you come up with that idea. Now that's your idea. You market it however which way you want. That's yours to take with you to all these different places. So you also have that opportunity as well of presenting that, well, this is a great sales incentive. And then, of course, this time of year, the holidays around the corner, it is a great corporate gift. So I'm just going to backtrack a little bit. Some time ago, it was Professional Admin Day, and I don't know if you guys have that in the States or not. The same type of thing. I made my list of professional businesses, and so that was lawyers and accountants and financial investment companies as well, because guess what, they all have lots of secretaries, and they're all going to be buying them gifts. So again, why not provide them with the Steep Tea gift? So so that was again something I did. So I mean, just if you're thinking, oh well, this is just short term, it's just right now for Christmas. No, it's not. There's always something around the corner, and it's up to you to, you know, make that work for you. Okay, so let's say you've got your list. Okay, you've got your big list. You know where you want to go. Now, what are you going to do with this list? You know, just because you have the name of the company, you need to know who to talk to. So here's the part where I hope I don't scare you guys, because it's kind of funny that we're doing this just the night before Halloween, because it's all very spooky. But here's the thing. You're going to have to maybe come a little bit outside your comfort zone. Because sometimes what I might do when I'm driving and I see that business that I want to, you know, introduce myself, is I will actually pull my car over, get out of the car and introduce myself. Okay, how do you like that? Because I need the name of the right person. So I would walk in, we'll say a car dealership, and I'll ask and I could have done on the phone, but you know what? There's nothing like a personal impression. If you don't have a car, or if you live in a city that's too big, try doing it on the phone, but you need to get the right person's name. So in this instance, it was the marketing manager. So I got his name, his business card. If sometimes it's happened that they've been actually available and able to chat on the spot, which that is your best case scenario, because there you go, you've got your pop-up interview right there on the spot. But it doesn't always happen like that, and that's okay. So you just want that information, that business card, that contact name that you can follow up. So again, now go back to your lead generation list, and you're going to make sure now that you've put in that person's name with their email and their phone number. Again, it's really important to keep track of things. You can lose business cards. It's like nothing, right? So you want to keep track of that stuff. The goal of the business card is you want it to have an email to send, and the goal of the email is so that they answer your phone call, basically. What I do now is I keep my email super brief. Basically, it's a short introduction, introducing myself, introducing Steep Tea, that we're all natural loose leaf tea company, and you know, I'd like to offer my services. We have a wide variety of products, good and lovely giftware, and I was thinking that your corporation might be interested in utilizing these things for your either incentives for staff or perhaps as gifts for your clients. Really brief, because chances are people aren't going to read it. So what I've done now is I've actually started inserting, I made a brief little video, and I think the video was like, it's under 3 minutes. I tried to be as quick as I could. Just, again, it's just important that, like Laura was saying, that people see your face. You're an actual person. You've got real products, like you're not some scammer. So, but again, the goal of the email is just so that they recognize your name when you call. And so today, for example, so I went to this dealership last week. I got the manager's name, the marketing manager's name. I sent him an email. I followed up today. Okay, so that's the next step. And then you're going to plan your follow-up phone call. If you wait for them to call you, you're probably going to be waiting a really long time. You have to follow up. The onus is on you if you want this. So Then I did the phone call, and first thing I said was, "Hi there, my name is Nancy Cohen. I tell you a little bit about it. And I said, "Oh, well, that's great. That's amazing." So right there, you're ready in a positive. His girlfriend loves it. He's heard of it. And when I mentioned to him my idea about incorporating it as either a sales incentive or as a customer gift, he was like, "Oh, wow, I've never thought about that." He says, "Normally we just go to a local place and we gift wine." And I'm like, "Okay, well, that's lovely, but not everybody drinks wine." And and so it's just, now the interest has been piqued. Okay, there's a whole new idea that he had never even considered. And so with that, it is now going to be up to me again to follow up with him. So and that's really what it is. It's about the follow-up. It's about that personal connection, because once you have that connection, that corporate connection, you're now looking at what could be regular income, regular sales, right? They go through this stuff on a regular basis. People are always sitting in the waiting rooms drinking their tea. And when somebody tries it to you, and they're like, "Oh, what am I drinking? This is great." And then they see what it is and that your information's there. I mean, there's all kinds of benefits to doing this. Gets your names out there to so many different people that otherwise would never have heard of you. And it also gives gives you a chance to really also bring Steve Tea up into people's forefronts of being a great product. So there's so many great things to come of this. For example, like I said, if somebody's in a spa and they're drinking the tea and they're loving it, I mean, there's just so many things. It could be regular income, and it's just, no, it's not a party, but it's still sales, and there's nothing wrong with that. And it could be a big party sale. So in the past, like when I've done the professional midday, what I did was I sold, I think they bought, I don't know, like $700 worth of the collections. What we did was we separated the collections. So yes, the collections are great gifts on their own, but I mean, for some companies, again, it's what is the budget. So you always want to be able to work within that budget. So we were able to figure it out that, if we separated the collections, everybody got a bag of tea, everybody got some seeping sacks wrapped in a bow, and that was something that worked for them. That's just one idea. I did another one last Christmas for another corporate client, and he was actually in the flooring business. And what I didn't realize is that the flooring business is very much about showing appreciation. So when they want designers to come into their shop and purchase certain types of flooring, etc., they do that with a thank you of these type of gifts. So, and this isn't new. Like, there's lots of companies that do this type of thing, this type of corporate gift giving. So you just got to kind of just put yourself out there, introduce yourself. Like I said, start with your list, off your list, and just be consistent. If you say you're going to call somebody back in 2 days, make sure that you do. Because otherwise, why would they even be interested in you? So you really do need to, if you're going to do this, do it seriously, follow up, and keep track of those follow-ups too, right? There's nothing worse than, you losing track. Oh, wait, I already called them, but I'm just calling them now. I mean, it just sounds terrible. So it is really important to keep track, and it's hard to keep track. And that's why I say it would be great if you can you keep track of it with your lead generation and for follow-up as well. So I hope I wasn't talking too fast. That makes sense to everybody?
Sure did.
So, yeah? Okay, where am I with my spiel here? One more thing you could do, just getting onto the social media thing, is you can also, if you create any gift baskets, again, this is something that you can share on social media, on your Instagram, hashtag gift basket, any budget, whatever. Use this as your opportunity to show others of what you're done, right? So when you get that corporate client, especially that first one, share that with everybody. Let them know that you can do this for them. You can take care of their holiday season gift giving, piece of cake. All they have to do is tell you what their budget is and let you take care of it. In most cases with these corporate gifts, they don't really care what it is. It just has to be something that they can afford, that looks nice, and obviously, that they feel a mesh with the Steep Tea kind of environment of being all natural and that type of thing. So that's pretty much it for my thing. I can open it up. You guys, if you have any questions, you can unmute.
Nancy, are we allowed to separate them out ourselves and hand them out?
Yes. So what you can do, they have to be purchased as a whole. Okay, so you can never sell just one little bag of tea. Okay, that's a giant no-no. You cannot do that. You can sell a collection, like the holiday collection is $40. So, in this instance, I think the person, to get them to whatever 500 was, so they bought about 12 or 13 of them. Okay, and then they got, so that's $500. They got 100 in free credit. So then they got 2 for free. They got 1 and then they got their half price. Okay, so that's how we worked it out. So they paid for all of them. Once it's paid for, this is where I say it can be divvied up however, it doesn't matter. It cannot be sold per bag of tea like that.
So I could potentially give it to some of my other clients from my other business.
Mm-hmm.
And then I could separate it out as appreciation gifts for my other clients, like buy it myself and do that?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And you want to let people know that, if you're going to do that for them, let them know. If these are corporations, let them know, hey, I can do this for you too.
Right. Exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah. Never mind just gifting that to them. How about I help you with this? So, yeah, absolutely. That's a good one. Great. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Sure, shoot.
Okay, can you hear me? Oh, first of all, when I first came on, I wasn't sure. I was also on the phone with someone. Was I interrupting? Hi.
No.
Okay. Just want to I wasn't sure what I was doing. Okay.
It's Q&A now, so you're good.
Okay. So I was wondering, you say, right, to get out of your comfort zone and go into these corporations. I am going to try and push myself to do that, to get out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a really negative reaction from anybody, really?
No, not at all. No, not once. No. And like I say, usually people are so appreciative of you taking the time to come down. I mean, obviously you're not always going to get people returning your phone call. So you have to be prepared of having that kind of, that not getting that validation of oh, this is great, I want to do this. But nobody will ever be rude to you or say, oh, I don't, no. So the worst you're going to get is a lack of response.
Okay.
That's it. And you know what? You can't take it personally.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it is what it is. Maybe not now, maybe in the future. When I must have, I don't even know how many companies I approached for my professional admin day. Majority were no, but you know what? Just because they were a no then doesn't mean they're going to be a no now. They're still on my list. They're not off my list. It's not that easy to get off my list. The only way you get off my list is to move from a lead generation into an actual customer.
Okay.
Yeah. Anybody else?
I have a question. I'm supposed to meet with the real estate office next week,
Mm-hmm.
and they are going to have all their agents come through. They're attaching it to a class, so they'll take the class, and then on their way out, they're going to have real estate agents meet, and the idea is to get them to use to client gifts as well as administrative assistant gifts. And I have zero ideas how to set that up. Do you have things? I mean, have you ever done something like that where you've done tastings for corporate events or?
Absolutely. Yeah. So what I would recommend is exactly that. I would do almost along the lines of a party. Do not call it a party. Call it a pop-up tea shop. It just sounds a little bit, it's just, yeah, don't call it a party. And just come in with tea to sample and have your giftware available, the giftware that's engravable and that type of thing. And then have your collections and show them that the collections can be, once they're purchased, can be separated into whatever. I once sold to one of my corporate clients. He did the collections, and then he added, he wanted to add a candle or something in it. So with cups, so we did that. So, you know, and you know, be open to working with other products as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Nancy, I had a question too.
Yeah.
So when you do a corporate sale, do you set them up as a party basically?
Exactly. That's exactly right. Yeah. So they will still, depending on the size of their order, they're going to walk away with some product for free. And that's how, you know, because sometimes they'll say, oh, well, what's your price? And it's like, well, it's going to depend on what your order is, right? If your order is $1,000, I can tell you exactly what you're going to get for $1,000 once it's all said and done for. But a lot of it's going to be with that free credit. So the credit ends up coming off of what they're owing. So that's how it works.
So each one's their own party, so to speak.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Nancy, I have a question as well.
Sure.
You're talking about the pop-up tea shop. How
Mm-hmm.
many different teas are good for people to sample?
What do you mean, at a business event type thing?
Yeah, I mean, I've been invited to do kind of like an open house thing.
Yep.
And to have, you know, I was thinking of the carafe, but
Yeah.
you know, should I have one sample of a tea or two, or what is your suggestion for that?
I would probably do two. I would do one cold and one warm, and depending, yeah, that's what I would do, because people are always shocked when you make it cold. It's like, oh, so I would do, yeah. I mean, it's always nice if you go with the variety and how diverse our products are, and that's always going to be a strength. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
No problem.
Okay.
Anybody else?
I have another question.
Yep.
So for approaching corporations, so you mentioned orthodontist, that you were driving on the road, and
Yep.
I remembered that I had an orthodontist, right? I had braces for like 5 years, so did my brothers.
Yep.
So I was wondering, like, what kind of, like, how would I go about introducing to myself to a business that I'm already very familiar with? Like, I know the people there.
You still need to talk to the office manager. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you still need, I mean, it still comes down. I know you've been in there and you're familiar with them, and that's great. Start with what you're familiar with. You're not limited to that. You can go anywhere. Don't feel it because you didn't go to that orthodontics and you're going to walk in there with a perfect smile that they're going to be mad at you. It doesn't matter. But start with what you're familiar with. You still need to talk to the office manager. It's up to the office manager to decide what goes in it. I just dropped off some tea. Not some tea, sorry. I was in at the dentist for myself and my daughters, and same kind of thing, right? And they only served coffee, and I was like, there's no hot water even. Anyways, lo and behold, they're considering the tea, but the office manager was not in. And even though I'm familiar there and I know the dentist and she owns obviously the place, honestly, they're not dealing with that stuff. It's the office manager that's
Okay.
dealing with those things. So you just need to get that name.
Okay.
Get that name and send the email, and then follow up with a phone call.
Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Well, thank you so much, Nancy, for talking to us. I feel like I learned so much that was mind-blowing. And since Go Big, I spoke to 2 people and I did it incorrectly. So I'm glad that we had a call. I spoke to an owner and whatever. But thank you. I really, really appreciate it. It was very helpful.
Good.
I could see why you're so successful. All right. My internet stopped.
Good night.
Bye. Good night.
Bye.
How do we turn this off?
Just hit leave
I went
meeting.
off. I apologize.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Thanks so much.
Bye. Laura, you'll send me the recorded.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got it. Bye.
Bye.